This is why you and Red are in a blood feud.
Overcharge the ion accelerator. It's time to forge the narrative.
Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. My name is Paul, your host. We are the Bell Souls podcast. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri.
Evening, everybody.
Tanya Gates and Red Powell.
Hello. Hey everybody.
Adam, you are already on location at the LVO in Las Vegas.
I am indeed. Got in here yesterday, actually. We're supposed to be meeting up with some Australian mates who unfortunately had to pull out at the last minute due to unforeseen issues. And so, yeah, just been taking it easy, doing a bit of setup today, having a great time.
I'll be there tomorrow. Cannot wait to see you. And Red, you'll be there as well. We'll have to get some pictures.
Can't wait, man. So glad to be back in the game. 2 weeks of being down, I am like, whew, man, I am super excited.
I don't know. You'll probably, by the time you're hearing this, it's going to be like Saturday afternoon, probably. Hopefully I get it out in time. But if you do hear this over the course of the last weekend in January, please tune in. Maybe try to catch some of the live coverage of the Las Vegas Open on the network.
It's going to be legit from the looks of things. But we shall see. A lot of logistical things. The hall that the events are being held in, they're all beautiful and immaculate. It's really strange. I think COVID has hit Vegas pretty hard. I mean, being here in 2020, me and Paul, when we did the show, and then being here now, even on the Strip, it's a pretty night and day.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll try to do some comparisons. Talk about it on next week's show about our how we what we thought. Catch me on social media, Instagram and Twitter. Going to be posting some updates throughout the weekend as well. I think it's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're tuning in now, you might want to know something about the Tau that are up for pre-order right now. Games Workshop, very, very kind, send us a review copy of the Codex, and things are different.
Yeah, I hear quite a bit has changed. I mean, the soul of the faction remains the same, but a lot of the core tenets, I guess, the special rules people remember, have been altered quite a bit. The ones that I'm really happy with the change to how Monkar and Kalyon work. I think that's really cool. I don't know which bits you want to go into, mate, but when I think Tau of the last two codexes, I think Monkar and Kalyon, I think For the Greater Good, Overlapping Overwatches, and I think Markerites. And I know at least two of those, all of them have changed dramatically from any iteration I've seen before.
Yeah, that Overlapping Overwatch, not a thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, straight up, just not a thing. Just not there anymore at all, is it?
Yeah, that's it. And now look, but there's a bunch of cool stuff in here, and just because things are different, it's just going to mean is an alternation of kind of what to expect when you're going into the table, and also what you're going to face. Maybe what you decide to build into your army and how you approach them. It was always the kind of the tricky bit when playing against Tau was, when do I declare the charge? What do I declare with? Do I kind of try to bait them into doing the special rules? Could you even bait them into doing the special rules?
I mean, it was something. It was a massive deal for me. Playing, Khorne and trying to assault Tau and figure out how to get into it. And yeah, I had to have successive waves to be able to get through that and understand exactly where the point of penetration was for the Tau's gun line. And that was a huge piece, like tactically, and how I maneuvered and got into it. Some of my best games, I felt, were trying to overcome those challenges with the Tau.
That's very fair. I mean, the Tau from 7th edition all the way, from 6th edition. Actually, going back to 4th, was it 4th edition was when Tau first came out, right? Let's go. Was it 4th? Am I wrong? Or was it 3rd?
Third?
It might have been 3rd. I was actually like you, Paul. I was playing Blood Angels at the time. Young, chunky Adam playing his Blood Angels, and I got tabled the first 3 times I played against Tau. And I was actually very unhappy. And Tau, that wasn't a good book. Their first book, by that standards of the day, was not that well built. I didn't have that many kits, and I actually liked quite a bit of flexibility. And then I guess there was I don't remember much about 4th and 5th, but 6th edition Tau was a juggernaut, and that did not change at all in 7th edition. They went straight into terrifying levels. The Riptide Wings just getting chucked on top of the things that they were already able to do. Like you had, I don't know if people remember ballistic skill 10 units.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a thing. Turns out you just hit at that point. You just, yeah, cool. Point. It gets allocated, it happened. But because you hit number 2 with a reroll. And that's what that meant. And then into 8th edition was actually a little rough for Tau. I think for the start, because when they went into indexes, they lacked all the flavor that stuck all their bits together.
So a lot of the signature systems and the relics and that kind of stuff were either non-existent or different, or didn't have the edge like they had before.
Exactly right, and I suppose to Red's point, there've been I'll liken them to dwarves quite a bit in fantasy. People thought dwarves was at times a bit of a killjoy army to play into, because it just felt like you played a movement phase, they played a shooting phase.
Yeah, you spent most of your 2-hour period just putting models back in the box.
In the box, exactly right. They didn't move, you moved, and you removed.
I won't go as far as to say that it was a killjoy. I thought it was a very engaging puzzle. Personally, there was definitely a skew to it, right? And I think that was something that was appreciated in the regards of factions. It wasn't one faction that did this over the other or what have you. It was that the shooting phase was their phase. Like, that was it. And it's interesting to see these changes roll in, because it looks like it's something of a step away from that, and so I'm very interested to see how.
No, the shooting phase is still very much their phase.
I mean, still very much their thing, right? I get it. No psychers still, but it's not the same kind of approach, I guess, and so I'm really excited to see how that plays out. But I would say, I've been very much in the camp of adapt or die when it comes to these, as the technology, if you want to call it, of the codexes has advanced, and I'm really excited to figure out how I'm going to have to adapt or die against this new problem set.
Yep,
it's almost like the arms race of 9th edition.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, you can call it codex creep, or you can just call it the continued advancement of the game.
Well, everything that gets put into the environment, I think it should change, at least, what the dynamic of what that particular match will be. People have to plan for it, and they choose to plan for it. If everything is capable of winning and upsetting things, you have to get really picky and choosy, and then you get probably better games out of it.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
We'll see how it goes. Let's talk about some of the changes. So the Philosophies of War. So you pick your set. And then there's an additional layer on top of that called the Philosophies of War, and that was on the Warhammer community site. Essentially, you can pick the Monka or Kalyan Philosophy of War, and that changes when you get some bonuses. Monka get bonuses in the early round, Kalyan get bonuses in the later round. But the army special rules, this is where the abilities they change a bit. Battlesuits, great thing. Battlesuit models in this unit can make attacks with ranged weapons even when the unit is within engagement range of enemy units. But they can only make such attacks against enemy units that they are within engagement range of. In such circumstances, those models can target an enemy unit even if other friendly units are within engagement range of the same enemy unit.
Awesome.
That's big.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was battlesuits, yeah? The battlesuit keyword just meant nothing?
Yes. Or you could jump, you could get occasional stratagem or something.
Exactly right. And the battlesuit keyword just meant you weren't good enough to be infantry.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to the rule, though. Note that if a battlesuit model has more than one ranged weapon, you can still choose to target units that are not within engagement range of its units, but it will only be able to make the attacks with that weapon if all enemy units within engagement range of its units have been destroyed when you come to resolve those attacks. In addition, when a battlesuit model shoots a heavy weapon, subtract 1 from the hit rolls when resolving the weapon's attacks while enemy units are within engagement range of that model's unit. So, if you're feeling gutsy, and when you go to declare all your attacks, maybe you think you're going to get that one hanger-on done. You're going to get your fusion gun to zot something down and then fire off across the table with something else.
Yeah, exactly right. You might shoot yourself out of combat and then have the opportunity to allocate further. Especially on bigger suits like the Riptides and the Ghost Keels, which I hear the Ghost Keel may have gotten a new lease on life, which I'm very excited about.
I believe it has. I think the battle suits, including the crisis suits and the Ghost Keels, are gonna be what the initial builds are. We'll get there. So marker lights, also a big change here. Yeah, this is pretty big. So units in your army can perform the following action. Here's where things start to get real different. Fire marker lights action. One or more marker light units from your army can start to perform this action at the start of your movement phase. Aircraft marker light units can perform this action. So already something different there. The action is completed at the start of your next shooting phase. If this action is successfully completed, for each model in that unit that is equipped with one or more marker lights, For each marker light that model is equipped with, select one enemy unit within 36 inches of that model that would be an eligible target for that model if it unit had been selected to shoot. And roll 1d6. On a 3+, that enemy unit gains 1 marker light token. So, couple of changes there all through that first paragraph. While a vehicle or drone unit is performing the fire marker light's action, that unit can move without the action failing. If it does, until the end of the turn, models in that unit without the vehicle or drone keyword that are equipped with any marker lights are treated as not being equipped with any marker lights for the purposes of fire marker light action.
So can you break that down for us step by step, like how you would imply that, and then what you get for doing it? What's the bonus?
So after you would get the marker light on, each time a Tau Empire unit, excluding Tau Auxiliary, is selected to shoot, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a unit with 1 or more marker light tokens, add 1 to the attack's hit roll, and then after a unit is finished making an attack, for each enemy targeted by those attacks, remove 1 marker light token from the enemy unit. Unless I think you were maybe talking about how to, like, while a vehicle or drone unit is performing the fire marker lights action, that unit can move without that action failing. If it does, until the end of the turn, models in that unit without the vehicle or drone keyword or equipped with any marker lights are treated as not being equipped with marker lights. I believe that means for the things that, like the drones that are attached to vehicles and the flyers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Big change to marker lights. And of course there are stratagems that allow certain units to interact with things differently. One where you don't have to roll. There's another one that lets the Pathfinders move after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So there's ways to interact with the marker light ability, and it's relevant, but I was going to say markedly different, but that might be a little too on the nose.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Was there a range associated with that?
36 inches.
I guess it's okay, like, if you have to spend CP to to make sure that it goes off. It feels bad when it can fail. And I imagine if you spend 1 CP, it just makes it so you don't have to roll for 1 unit's marker lights, right?
We'll get there, but yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like that you're already giving up, unless it is a Pathfinder or other associated unit, you are giving up the opportunity to use that unit for something else. You shouldn't have to roll, I don't think. But anyway, here we are.
Here we are. It can be, look, I think it impacts the number that you build into your list.
That's true. That's very true. And this isn't. I mean, I remember taking Tau armies where I wouldn't take less than like 13 rolls to get, because you were trying to get to that magic 5 marker lights, so everybody gets +1 to hit against the target, and you would just keep bringing them in order to make sure you get there when you need to. So maybe I don't feel like this is a modus operandi for the armies. Well, it's a bonus for bringing XYZ units, which feel like they're already usable as is.
And we got to be careful not to fall in the trap of like this is just different, so it can't be good.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this.
And then look, and also I want to point out that we're just kind of picking out a few things here, and not going to get into quite probably all the depth on the initial Codex review.
Yeah, I mean, seeing how much improved the firepower itself is looking so far that we've been teased, it does make sense that you can't just put like 1 million marker lights on things, right? Like that would increase the kill potential of Tau probably a little bit too much. So I do imagine that this is a balancing mechanic in some way. It's just hard to wrap your head around it because it was such a pivotal mechanic before. And now the fact that it's an action that could fail, it's just inherently not something that you're going to like build your army around,
Yeah.
There were a lot of tense moments, like trying to keep people off that last tier of marker light.
Yeah. You'd fire and fade, you'd pop smoke, you'd do all your little reactive stuff.
Yeah. Shake a chicken foot, little whatever.
use your monkey's paw. Last monkey's paw wish. But how does... So, I know Warhammer Community told us about Kauyon and Monkar changing dramatically. I wonder if we're going to go into that.
So this is up on the community site, but it's so the tactical philosophy. So if every unit from your army, excluding Tau Auxiliary, Supreme Command, and the underlying units, is from the same sept, then at the start of the battle, when you have determined who has the first turn, you can select one of the tactical philosophies below. Tau Empire units from your army gain the benefit of that tactical philosophy. If both players have similar abilities, the player has the first turn chooses first. I like how you can choose. This is not something you have to put on your army list. as it were. Monk Ka is battle rounds 1 through 3. Each time this unit makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase until the end of your shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary.
Ooh.
Good. And then each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit within range, shown in the table below, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. So in battle round 1, it's within 18 inches, 2, 12, and 3, 9 inches.
Spicy.
Yeah, I like the extra AP and reroll the wound.
Yeah. It seems like a bit more of a fun mechanic than, say, well, doctrines seem quite basic by 9th edition standards, like the Space Marine doctrines. They seem quite basic compared to some of the amazing bits and pieces and the intrigue you can have with your mono faction bonuses or whatever. But this is a good one. This one feels really fun.
I like it that it is not like specific weapon profile dependent. Like it's just, you just get it.
It does seem very flexible, and I like that.
Yeah, so whatever you take, you don't have to take plasma weapons or rapid fire or whatever. It's just whatever you got. If they're within the closest within range, within the range band, get the Montcon.
Can I inquire, like, against which kind of armies would you take the Montcaw?
Let me read Callion, and that'd be a great one. So,
okay.
Good question. Yeah, the unit Callion is rounds 3 through 5. The unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back, but if it does, then until the end of the turn, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, subtract 1 from that attack's hit roll. And then next point, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit within 12, if that model is not within engagement range of any enemy units and did not fall back this turn, on an unmodified hit roll of the value shown below, if the attack scores a hit, it scores 1 additional hit.
That's cool.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
So on 3 it's a 6, 4 it's a 5, and then 5 it's a 4+.
See, what I like is here is you choose how you want to pace out the game. Choose if you want to front load or back load your play style, and so you can build into that like really deeply in what units you choose to take. Like in some formats, like the event I'm at this weekend, where you get to pick where you put your terrain, you can even decide based on your terrain layout. I feel like it's really exciting. So Tanya, you had the question: where do you think what armies do you think you'll use Callion? Where do you think you'll use Monka? Yeah. Yeah. What are your first impressions then? Like, where's your mind starting at?
I have no idea. That's why I asked.
What do you guys think?
Like, what would let's use Custodes as an example. An army that needs to get up close. Maybe not needs to. Maybe they're a bad example now. Blood Angels as an example.
Yeah. So we're talking about getting extra rend on weapons on turns 1, 2, 3 versus
getting extra hits.
Yeah, versus exploding hits turns 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. I think if I had to have a gut check feeling, I think that the vast majority of people are going to play Callion 90% of the time. I feel like the game is won and lost turns 1, 2, 3, and very much it's in the kind of a not quite as much in the balance turn 4 and turn 5. If you have the power to dictate the outcome of the game turn 4 and turn 5, chances are you're in the winning position already. So I feel like innately, just how kind of the game is at the moment, I'd be assuming a lot of people go Callion because they want to get their work done early.
Monka. You're talking about Monka in rounds 1 through 3.
Oh, yeah, of course. Apologies. For Custodes, that example, chances are if you don't start removing pieces of Custodes early, you're going to get overwhelmed late. They're just going to have too much stuff because they're just so hardy and so well to kill. So you've got to get started early. So chances are, I feel like it's that way about quite a few different matchups as well.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm always picking Monka.
I'm not. I don't necessarily think always, but certainly.
Man, it had to be a real extreme case.
Like
if something develops to where an army is like its archetype is that it comes in from reserves in round 3, that's when I'm probably going Callion.
Fair.
But I have to, I think I would have to, it had to be well established that that's how that army plays, and it's very disadvantaged if it didn't play that way. For that same reason, I want to get all my work done in the early rounds.
Yeah, well, so the only risk is that turn 1. Turn 1 can be such a nothing really eventuates turn in a lot of games. That's really just positional. And so therefore, I think you could, theoretically, you could get an extra, turns 4, 3, 4, 5, if you have a big turn 5, if you've got a lot of stuff left. That might be better than having a pretty null turn 1. But you are a shooting army. There's a lot of SMS.
And a little bit of that's built into it. Each time the unit makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase, the unit, until the end of the shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary.
So you're saying that you can like position yourself turn 1 to get a beat on things.
Now your opponent's but your opponent
Okay.
still knows that. You're just not getting that those negatives if there are any in a lot of situations.
All right.
I mean, terrain, sometimes they still might be able to get around an L or something on the table. I just think Montclaw is very compelling with the way the game is currently being played right now.
I understand. Thank you for elaborating for me.
More of the army abilities, Manta Strike, if they have that ability, then you can go into reserves and come down 9 inches away. Ambushing Predators, give you an idea which unit has those. At the start of the first battle round, models in this unit can make a normal move up to 7 inches. They cannot end this move within 9 inches of any enemy models.
Nice.
And then Inspired to Greatness. In your command phase, select one friendly Tau Empire Corps or Auxiliary within 6 inches of this unit's ethereal model until the start of your next command phase. While that unit is performing an action, it can make ranged attacks without that action failing.
That's pretty
good.
important. That's really important.
That's really good.
I've got one very pertinent question. It's probably on the tip of everybody at home's tongues. They're on the tip of their seat. They're like, Paul, we really need to know about Vespid. Like, just skip straight to it, mate.
I was going to see, you're going to ask if there was a Kroot HQ.
There is, though. There's a Shaper, right?
There is, yeah.
Yeah. Sick. And they got their own kind of, I mean, that got teased today by, told about today by Warhammer community. They said we can build our own Kroot detachments now, which I think is really cool.
Let's go to Vespids and we'll talk about it.
Yes, the finest model in the land, everyone's favorite. I don't know, what even are they? The bat birds? What even are they?
I mean, they're insectoid, right? Multiple eyes, 6 eyes.
Yeah, like bee
They're
kind
definitely bug-like.
Yeah, they thrum into battle, so that's definitely bee-like. Yeah, it's what it says right here. These alien auxiliaries thrum into battle on membranous wings.
There you go. What's that stat line looking like?
Movement 14, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 5. Don't take any damage. The strain leader is leadership 8, so you're fine. I was more just being kind of sarcastic. But the Neuron Blaster, 18 inches, assault 2, strength 5, neg 3, AP, damage 2.
Wait, say that again slowly.
The Neutron Blaster, 18-inch range, assault 2, strength 5, neg 3, AP, damage 2.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good gun.
Plunge from the sky. During deployment, you can set up this unit high in the sky, so they basically don't get the manta, they get their own wings.
Yep, they thrum down from the sky.
They thrum, and they are only 12 points a model.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'm on board.
T4.
Can get up to 13 in the unit size.
What? 13?
Yeah.
What?
What a specific number. Wow.
I mean, try not to understand the Xenos. Just let them do their thing.
Somebody get the Inquisitors.
Can I just say I think these are really cute, and I would love to paint a unit of these.
Well, you might get your opportunity, because I mean, ask me if I would pay 12 points for something with that weapon profile that could come down within Deep Strike and get Assault 2 with neg 3, 2 damage.
If you take a 13, man, you're making that leadership 5 look real good right there. Oh, you lost one model. That's a third
The
chance.
strain leader is LD8, so their sergeant is...
That makes a big difference.
Yeah. And I can't imagine why you'd, I guess, going to keep them on the table a long time. They also have claws, neg 1 AP. They've neg 1 AP in the claws.
Cool. Yeah, 1 attack a pop, neg 1 AP. Any little bit of combat helps out. Anything.
Yeah, if you're getting down to the Vespid claws, that could be rough. The Kroot Hounds have that ambushing predator, what we were talking about.
Yep.
Get a 7-inch move. Sort of the regular Kroot. Basically, everything in Kroot has the ability to pre-game move.
Well, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Now we can talk about the Kroot. Codex Kroot, as this may become referred to as.
It's obviously going to be the best bit of the book, though, right?
Only 1 wound apiece, 2 attacks. Krootox Rider in here, 4 attacks. The Kroot Rifle is rapid fire 1, 24 inches, strength 4, 1 damage. It is neg 1 AP in combat, though.
Got to start somewhere.
20. You can get up to 20 Kroot units. Sorry, not 20 Kroot units. You can have a 20 Kroot in the squad.
So they also get a pregame move.
Yeah, the ambushing predator. Let's move 7 inches.
How many attacks do they get?
2.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
better than guardsmen, right, Tanya?
Yeah.
yeah. How many points are they?
Kroot are 6 points a model.
Come on, you're gonna bring them every time.
Yes, should be.
Pregame move.
Yeah, that base move is 7. Pre-game move is
6
7.
points. That seems really good. And their strength 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that seems pretty good.
in the shooting and close combat.
What's their save?
6+. They're not saving.
Yeah, but you got 20 of them in a squad, so it's fine.
They have grenades, quill grenades. Grenades D6 blast weapon, 16-inch range. Kroot are not bad.
I'm into it. Codex Kroot, here we go.
I like those things. I like it when it gets built into the book like that.
I mean, I have this, I love Kroot. I think that they're so cool. And I think in the lore, they are absolutely horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they are.
right?
Like, you look at like the nice kind of well-to-do Tau. No,
Yo.
they're all kind of squeaky clean. They're kind of not. They kind of portray themselves like that. And you're like, and you guys ally with these dudes, and you're like dark alley, shifty, crazy. It's in the name. Kroot carnivores, wholesome people right there.
They're sprue. They're, even though it's an old sprue, it's got all kind of gribbly bits on it. It is awesome for like Necromunda, like Hive City type, food truck type things, which I've done. The bits go great on Death Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unknown pieces of carcass.
Yeah,
their
I just
sack
think
lunch.
It's so cool that they eat the brains of their favorite enemies or their most powerful enemies or whatever, because they think it gives them power or whatever. I think that's so
Like
cool.
40k predators.
That's what Space Marines do, don't they?
They do
They
for the
can,
members.
with the gland, they can pick up stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the Ghost Keel?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That's one of my favorites. Man, I love the Ghost Kill.
It looks good.
It's had such a fun story in the game. It's either been obnoxiously powerful or it's been very forgettable.
Or not.
Yeah.
Just figured I'd finish that one for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Electro Warfare Suite. While this unit's Ghost Kill battlesuit model has any wounds remaining, each time a ranged attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's an infiltrator. During deployment, when you set this unit, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and any enemy models, and then it can explode.
What, immediately? No.
Yeah, just...
I'd love to do that.
Shows up, infiltrates, explodes.
Can you have that
Oh.
unit? What the Cyclops demo do now?
Y'all are all you're laughing, but how many times have you actually just wanted something like that to happen?
I mean, not 9 inches away. 9 inches away is too far away from a juicy explosion, but,
Unless you're Stampa, right?
Then you're right next to him. Exactly where you want to be all the time.
Okay, but if Hellhounds had an auto blow up strat, you better believe I'd be making them to Larn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is equipped with 2 stealth drones. We can talk about those. It also has some other war gear here. The early warning override. Each time a bearer fires Overwatch, it scores hits on an unmodified 5+ instead of a 6. Each time you use the fire Overwatch stratagem, if the bearer is on the battlefield and its unit is selected to fire Overwatch, reduce the CP cost of that stratagem by 1 CP to a minimum of 0 CP. Note that the CP cost is only reduced by 1 CP for that use of the stratagem, and any future usages of it cost normal. And then flare launchers. Each time the bearer would lose a wound as a result of a ranged attack with a strength characteristic of 7 or more, roll a d6. On a 5+, the wound is not lost.
Wow.
Toughness 7, 12 wounds, 3+ save. And then the points. Since I know somebody's going to ask.
Nah, tell us the Crusade rules, mate. Sorry, there's nothing wrong with Crusade.
I love Crusade.
I just don't understand it, and that's on me.
You don't understand Crusade?
Don't rile up Red. This is why you and Red are in a blood feud.
I know, it's great. It's my favorite part of the show.
I'm gonna make him read it. It's coming.
The Ghost Keel is 160 points base. The flare launcher that we just talked about is 15 points. Fusion Blaster upgrade is 5 points. Fusion Blaster is an 18-inch multigun.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's very respectable. 12 wounds now is a lot better. Actually, were the 12 wounds before? I thought it was 10 wounds before.
They were close. No, they were. I think they were similar.
I'll check it. Let me pull it up in the app.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Red?
that thing.
Red?
That
Yeah.
at any point in the last year plus, Adam could have joined.
Yeah. I mean, I could have it. I could have it already, but I just choose to continue the meme because it's more fun.
They were 10 wounds before. You're exactly right.
So
Yeah.
does that mean that this thing brackets?
It bracketed before as well.
It does, and it is more points, so it has gone up a considerable amount of points. I mean, with at least the base.
Well, I feel like it's better now. Though. So, what do the stealth drones do? Did we touch on that and I missed it?
We have not talked about that. The unit cannot be selected as a target for ranged attack unless it is the closest eligible target to the firing model, or the firing model is within 18 inches of it.
I like.
Yeah.
That's the stealth field generator of the stealth drone.
I like a lot. What's the range? So it's got the fusion collider, which usually will probably be around 24. Or
24
whatever.
inches. Yep. Heavy 3.
Yeah.
Strength 9. Neg 4. D6 damage.
What's the range on the ion?
The cyclic ion raker.
Yeah, ion raker. Yeah.
36 inches. Heavy 6.
Nice.
Standard is strength 7, neg 2, 2 damage. Overcharge is heavy 6, strength 8, neg 2, 3 damage, and then you suffer mortal wounds on the 1.
Ooh, that's a good profile though. Like sitting back, like you not being targeted unless they're willing to come party with you while unloading, like essentially like super battle cannon shots. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it comes standard equipped with the fusion collider, 2 Tau flamers, ghost kill fist, and a drone controller.
Ghost kill fist.
Yeah. Sell us on the ghost kill fist.
Do you want to guess what their stats are?
Strength user minus 2.
Strength times 2.
No,
AP minus 2, 3 damage.
It's strength plus 1, making them strength 7, neg 1 AP, 2 damage. So y'all had the 2 damage. You guessed the 2 damage.
Yeah.
So the gun drone controller, in your command phase, you can select one drone unit within 6 inches of the bearer. Till the start of your next command phase, drone models in that unit have a ballistic skill 4+. Gun drone models in that unit lose the threat identification protocol ability.
I mean, it sounds like a good package.
Yeah. So the gun drone, if you didn't guess, each time the model makes a range attack, it can only target the nearest eligible unit unless you've got this drone control or a drone controller next to it that overrides that. So 160 points, can't really be targeted unless you get up close to it, and then when you are, it's got at least 1 or 2 rounds of chewing you up with some pretty good guns before you get anywhere near it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. I think it's good.
And the Ghost Kill comes in the new Battle Force.
Yeah.
So get it while it's hot. These are some of those things we know that units become in demand quickly, especially if they've got they're kind of seen as a standout in the Codex. And I think that the Crisis Suits, the Ghost Kills, and then the Fire Warriors are actually going to stand out pretty well. Like all that hype about the railguns, I think they are going to see some play because people are going to love just zapping their buddies.
But so that's
zapping their real friends.
So. One thing I'll really say about 9th edition is that GW has done a great job of balancing out the boys and toys in people's lists. We haven't really seen some of the craziness we saw in last edition, where we had just either full mechanized list or straight up horde lists just dominating here, there, and everywhere. We've had a bit of everything. Even the kind of the worst offenders so far this edition, things like Ripari, had a big mechanized element, but also had we also had some monsters and the Talos and the pain engine stuff. Had plenty of vehicles, but not only transports, had some gunships as well.
It's literally so good that all they do is nerf one part, and you can just as easily just switch to literally any other part of the book.
It's true. It's true. But they've done a good job with that, and so I think a lot of the codexes of mine have lived and died of how well people can use their troop slot. If you've got a good troop, if you've got a great troop, you've got a great group. And that's
true.
Yeah.
And troops are categorically almost better across the board for every codex. And that did not used to be the case in previous versions. I used to, one of my biggest gripes in the past is when people tried to, engineer comp.
Yeah.
And one of the things they would do for comp is, you have to have 4 troop choices, or whatever your army.
Yeah, you have to double your troop.
Well, my 4 troop choices are nowhere near that guy's 4
troop choices. One question I have. So every single codex that I can think of for this edition have given you some way to take a 20 model unit in a troop slot. I'm assuming that's Kroot, but I thought that they might let you do that with Fire Warriors.
No, Fire Warriors are
10s?
12.
I believe they're 12 units. Yeah, hang on a minute.
Oh, nice.
I think they've always been 12.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, literally just about every other codex, you can take a 20 strong unit from Sisters.
Sorry, 11. 11 total if you count the the missile pod or the weapon pod.
Yeah. So interesting. No, I mean, I guess Kroot is that for them, right? It's that 20 strong unit.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if every codex in 9th edition so far, they've given you either a 20 wound unit or a 20 model, because Space Marines don't have a 20 wound unit being in 10 intercessors.
Yep. So let's start. I mean, let's actually take a break. Then we'll come back and I'll tell you about a couple stratagems that I think are going to kind of be some early go-tos, or at least nice to have things.
And then we're going to talk about Crusade. Thanks, Adam.
Easy. No worries. Here to help, guys.
See you in a minute.
FTN is brought to you by Discount Games Inc. Please visit them at www.discountgamesinc.com. And don't forget to ask Jay about ways to save even more on your hobby projects.
And we are back, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. So yeah, a couple stratagems just to kind of talk about them here is that point blank volley 1 CP uses stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select one fire warrior team unit from your army that is within engagement range of any enemy units until the end of the phase. Pulse blasters, pulse carbines, and pulse rifles that models in the unit are equipped with have the type characteristic pistol 2.
I like that a lot. That gives them kind of a pseudo combat as well. Like if someone just runs up and touches them, at least they get to have a say in the next turn. Like there's a reason to not just fall back automatically.
Yes, the strength 5, 2 shots. If you have any of them left,
Yeah.
But you are right. It's there are advantages to not always having to fall back to keep your to keep your models from being removed. Such as if you were on an objective. Like, what's the practical application of this? If you're on an objective and you don't want the opponent to be on that objective.
Yeah. Or if they're on the objective and they've got, like, you can fall back, but they've got a heroic intervention, or if they have more models than you, or they've trapped you in combat. They've tri-pointed you. You can't fall back. You don't want to spend the 2 CP to desperate breakout, or you want to do that elsewhere. Or it's a witch squad that's, got you caught in the shard nets. Like, there's a lot of relevant options.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing. It's 1 CP to have in the back pocket. Don't mind that at all. There's a drop threat acquisition. Uses stratagem in your movement phase. When a battlesuit unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using the Mantis Strike ability or the homing beacon action, until the end of the turn, each time a battlesuit model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can reroll the hit roll. If the unit contains 4 more battlesuits, it costs more. Otherwise, it costs 3 CP. Otherwise, it costs 2 CP.
It's just nice. It's just good. Another reason to take the battlesuits. That is something that I really want to see. I really want to see more battlesuits, more than just the one. I mean, in this edition so far, we've seen some people take one big squad that gets every single buff, every single iota of efficiency squeezed out of it. And I'd rather see it not kind of so Death Star-like for them. Like, not so much, all or nothing. Because, I mean, the crisis suits are absolutely iconic, aren't they?
Yeah, and that was one of the... I like the whatever the current version of the crisis suits are. Very nice. Yeah. Another way to bump up the Fire Warriors Pulse Onslaught uses strategy in the shooting phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a core model in the unit makes an attack with a pulse weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds the target.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Now, just think... Again, we're talking about how to be efficient and effective with your troops. I think all this stuff plays right into that. There's lots of ways to buff up shots and stuff in this, as you might expect.
Yeah, as you might expect. A little bird told me that one of the only melee relics that they've got has made its way back in, right? I think it's the Onager Gauntlet.
The Onager Gauntlet, yeah.
Yeah. It was always kind of respectable, and there was that and the Fusion Blades, I think, which were one of the Sept specific.
Farside Sword?
Yeah, exactly right. Apart from Farside Sword, they're the only real sources of combat, legitimate combat punch that they had. So I'm keen to see, I don't want to see stuff that I guess kind of thematically shouldn't be combat units become combat units, but I'm very happy to see a little bit more of a sprinkle. I want to have some kind of a say.
Well, the Onager Gauntlet is it's Strength 12, Neg 4 AP, Damage 3.
So, what did you say? Sorry,
Strength 12, Neg 4 AP, Damage 3.
Yes, that's legit.
I think it's cool. Exactly to that point, I'm with you, Adam, in regards to units and their specific role sets. It's kind of weird when one jumps out at you and suddenly is like. But I think this has always been kind of a cool conversion, like actual conversion in role type. Suddenly there's this one battle suit out of nowhere that's like, I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some cases we might be due for a melee kit for a crisis suit, like a crisis suit with a couple of swords on the wrists or whatnot. I could see that, and I'd be pretty happy for that to be a thing. Maybe they're like weapon skill 4+, but they're like super durable or something, or but
They're
there's
like bodyguards, right?
Well, yeah.
Couldn't
Yeah.
the bodyguard crisis suits maybe have a melee version, understanding that Tau are going to get melee eventually at some point?
Well, we talked about this. Like in 10,000 years from now, in Warhammer 50,000, they're going to have blenders on the end of these fists.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
So the commander and the enforcer battle suit, a little bit beefier, 2+ save, 3+ weapon skill, 7 wounds.
And the cold star's still around as well, yeah?
There is the Cold Star battle suit. Yep, 3+ save though. Yeah. Movement 14. It's got the it zips.
So they really do have the 3 versions of the Space Marine Commander now, don't they? They have the one on bike being the Cold Star, they had the one in Terminator armor being the Enforcer, and they had the basic boy on the foot, as in the it's pretty good.
All true. Well, all that checks out. Let's talk about Arnval for a minute. And that'll be a nice segue into the ethereal, and that's probably all we'll have time for on this episode.
So I had a prediction some time ago.
Sorry, not. I think I combined the Adeptus House character.
Anvar.
Anvar.
Anvar. Yeah, I a while ago I predicted, or I just said, I think anecdotally, I bet you they turn ethereals into like the chaplains for Tau, and that turns out to have been the case, right?
Yes, they get invocations of the ethereals, which is essentially like a chaplain tree.
That's cool, really cool. And so, I don't know how much into the lore we want to go, but there was a decent case for Anvar being legended due to what's happened to him in the lore. Turns out he's literally the Tupac Shakur of the 41st millennium.
Just a hologram?
Just a hologram. That's so good.
Well, that's the cool thing about the battles in Warhammer 40,000 is that they could be in any time period.
It's true.
When the character was alive.
That was kind of the best bit of that book, though, was that ending. Because he gets, it's been like 6 years. Am I allowed to say what happened?
Maybe not too much detail, just in case.
Well, if he's a hologram, you can assume what happened. I'll leave it at that. I won't tell you the circumstances. But it was really cool to see what the little bit of the perceived uncorruptible, virtuous Tau have to worry about what Supreme Leader is not kind of with us anymore. What do we do? And they were just guess we'll lie? A lot. I thought it was good.
Alrighty.
For the greater good, Adam.
For the greater good. For the greatest good.
Keep the big picture in mind.
You got to keep Tupac around for the greater good. That's all I heard.
So, Inspired to Greatness, that's the rule we talked about. It lets people shoot, not mess up their actions. Supreme Loyalty, Aura, while friendly Tau Empire core units, excluding Farsight Enclaves and Tau Auxiliary units within 9, use the Ethereal units of the Ethereal model. Models in this unit can use these units' leadership instead of their own. Paradox. 10. Paradox of Duality. Models in this unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. Each time an attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 from the attack's wound roll. Which is, they're toughest 3.
Is that only for core infantry, or can you do it on crisis suits?
No, that's this unit, so that's just...
they put it on themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, stop.
Leadership cast. This unit can be included in any Tau Empire detachment without preventing the detachment from being a SEP detachment and without preventing other units from not getting it. So you can put it in there and not violate your SEP tenet. Serene Unifier. This unit's Anval model knows 3 invocations from the invocations of the Ethereals. In your command phase, this unit's Anval model is on the battlefield. It can intone up to 2 invocations it knows that have not already been intoned by a friendly model. This turn, roll a d6 on a 2+. The intoned invocation is inspiring and takes effect until the start of your next command phase. When normally a normal ethereal is on a 3+.
Cool.
And invocation is the Ethereals. Storm of Fire. If this invocation is inspiring, select 1 friendly Tau Empire core unit within 6. That unit can make ranged attacks without any action it's performing failing. Sense of Stone. If this invocation is inspiring, select 1 friendly Tau Empire core unit within 6 inches of the Ethereal. Each time a core model in this unit would lose a wound on a d6 5+, the wound is not lost. 5 up, feel no pain is pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
Zephyr's Grace. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau Empire core unit within 6 of the ethereal. Each time a ranged attack is made against that unit, if it did not remain stationary in your movement phase, subtract 1 from that attack's hit roll. Power of Tides. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau auxiliary unit within 6 of this ethereal. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to that attack's wound roll. I like anything that buffs up the wound roll.
Same, me too. And where's their +2 to advance and charge?
Come on, man, that's Wisdom of the Gods. No, that's this is actually a pretty good one. Wisdom of the Gods, if this invocation is inspiring, you gain 1 command point.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, what we didn't read is Unifying Mantra. You can reroll morale tests for the unit and add 1 of the combat attrition tests taken.
Funnily enough, that's what I'm least a fan of. I think all the other ones were really good.
Yeah. That getting the command point back is pretty neat.
It's very neat, man. Very neat. It's great. So, I mean, yes, please. I'll have the command point back every turn, sir. That'd be wonderful.
On a 2+ from...
yeah, literally. 2+ from above. How many can he do?
3. He knows 3, but he can do 2.
Yeah, so he's like a super chaplain. I'm impressed. I think this is great.
So, sorry, I think I missed it. Does he have to roll for this?
He does at a 2+, yeah.
Okay, so it's not so bad.
Similar to how the Space Marines have to do their litanies. I mean, so far I'm digging it. I mean, there's
me too.
There's stuff in here. I mean, of course, how the points come about, but I think we've made a very good case for Vespids.
Dude, they look legit. They seem good.
They're priced point wise pretty compelling as well.
Priced to play is my new term.
Yeah, 12 points, damage 2, weapon. 18-inch range, can deep strike, and then Kroot getting the pregame move. And what we didn't talk about when we were talking about the stratagems is the Kroot actually get a stratagem that lets them heroically intervene like they were a character. The unit to heroically intervene. It's a trap well laid.
I heard through the grapevine that Kroot get a better cover save. Is that a thing?
Just by nature of them being Kroot?
When they're in cover.
Yeah, in cover.
Let's check it out.
I think that used to be a thing where they were in forest. Like they get, instead of getting stealth, they get shrouded when they're in forest or something like that.
Each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model in this unit while it's receiving the benefits of cover, add an additional 1 to any armor saving throw against that attack.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and they have a Grisly Feast, gives them a feel no pain. That's in the fight phase, though. So you could invest a lot of CP into the Kroot in almost every phase of the game.
Yeah, Kroot Legion is doing.
People have them out there.
I know quite a few people. I know some people who've got like the Forge World Narlox and all the other crazy, awesome sculpts they've had back in the day.
The stratagem that I was talking about with the Pathfinder team is called Recon Sweep. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when the Pathfinder team from your army successfully completes the Fire Marker Light action. Each time you roll to see if the enemy unit gains a Marker Light token as a result of that action, completing, add 1 to the roll. So that's the one so it is for the whole unit 10. You'd ask that. And then the next point thing, that unit can make a normal move. So you come up, pop off your marker lights, add 1 to the roll, and then you get to normal move.
What's that?
For 1 CP. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's Ghost Keels, Ethereals, and Kroot, and a couple of Pathfinder teams.
Days. Yeah.
Like everybody's heard about the rail cannons, so we didn't go into them, but there's stuff to do in this codex.
With the changes that we've heard about in the chapter approved book, I'm ready for
Storm Surges.
A single Storm Surge to be a usable option, because it's never been the thing. As long as I've been in the game, Storm Surge has never felt like a real knight equivalent or something imposing or scary.
Yeah, so there was a brief time where I think you could do something kind of tricksy, like you could root down and then do something that didn't count as moving, but yet still moved you.
Yeah, I remember some days and some times where it was just like wonky stuff, but never by themselves. Like it always had to be some left of field combo that made them takeable. So I'm ready for that. My soul is prepared.
Well, then when they just about got in that category, the Super Tunas surpassed them.
Yeah, because that was the thing, right? Like, what you want a big, stompy, possibly silly. Super heavy. Well, you just go one step further and take the big tuna.
Yeah. So the Storm Surge is base 330 points. If you go with the Pulse Blast Cannon, it's an extra 10 points. Fragmentation Projector is 5 points. And the Twin Burst Cannon, just to get up those Shoulder Burst Cannons, additional 5 points. The Pulse Blast Cannon is Focus Shot, 24 inches, heavy 2, strength 16, neg 4, AP 12 damage.
Yeah, boy. That's a slapper.
And the Dispersed Shot is 48 inches, heavy 6, strength 12, neg 2, 4 damage. That kills
Yeah,
some thick city, doesn't it?
Kills some everything. I hear.
Wait, 4 damage is good?
Yeah, I think so. 4 damage is amazing.
Yeah. It's got thunderous footfalls. It can kick.
It can kick.
I mean, it doesn't get a lot of attacks. This thing degrades fast on the attacks.
Yeah.
It goes from 3 to D3 to 1.
I mean, I don't think Tau players will care, because if you've taken it betting on the kicks, you've got other problems.
Well, true. Yes. So deploy anchors at the start of your movement phase. Any number of Storm Surge models from your army can start to perform this action. The action is completed at the start of your next shooting phase. If this action is successfully completed until the end of the phase, each time this model makes a ranged attack, you can re-roll the hit roll.
Nice. That is very powerful.
Yeah. I mean, you can't move, but
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
sometimes you don't need to move.
48-inch range, 72 inches on the pulse driver cannon. Heavy D3, strength 10, neg 4 AP, damage 3 blast weapon.
That's crazy good. I love it.
And it's got a 4+ invulnerable save. This thing has a 4+.
Good. You used to have to pay a bunch of points to get that.
I remember
previously. That. Yeah, it always felt a little silly.
Yeah, is 330 points a lot? I don't know that it is.
No,
I don't think it's game breaking.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, it's a walking battleship also, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, if you were just unaware. So the biggest thing I wanted to see from this book is a dynamic tower, not one that was just a gun line. Because I feel like gun lines have the way that 9th edition has been structured, which is great, has been structured that you can't get a great score sitting on your back line just shooting guns. You need to play the game. And so that's why I always had concerns that the Tau Codex could be amazing, could be a bit lackluster. But I hear there's some stratagems that even one community have put out to make like the Fish of Fury possibly come back, which I'm super excited because that's what they need to be able to be. You think about some missions like the Scouring, where there's no objectives in your deployment zone. If you can't play the middle of the field, you can't win the game. And so I've been thinking about ones like that, ones like Battle Lines, where all the points are 12 inches outside your deployment zone. But they've got some stuff for that now, I hear.
Yes, there is. I'll jump into that in 1 second, but talk about Dynamic Army. You know, there's also the Kroot Hounds, which get functionally the same rules as the regular Kroot with their ambushing predators. So if they have 3 attacks, they're neg 1 to their ripping fangs, 1 damage apiece, also 6 points a model.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking now to see if they benefit from that, some of the strategies we were just talking about. But talk about dynamic so a trap well laid says select 1 Kroot unit from your army that is not within engagement range. It gets to heroically intervene. And the same with the Grizzly Feast, Kroot unit. So let me go double check the Kroot Hound. Seems like it would have the Kroot keyword. It has the Kroot keyword. So you can accomplish some of that same stuff we were talking about, but with the Hounds, and maybe not remove those that Fire Warrior element from your army, and still be able to go and kind of attack the mid and backfield.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Getting them dynamic, getting them up the board, and I think Kroot's been the fodder for Tau for as long as we can remember, right? So that plays pretty thematically as well.
They seem to. It's weird. I don't know that I've seen them really incorporated too much into Tau armies, but I've seen people play a lot of Kroot.
That's fair.
So you're talking about the onboard sensors from the Devilfish. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select 1 set Devilfish model from your army and 1 enemy unit within 24 inches of and visible to that model. Until the end of the phase, the Devilfish model gains the following ability: Sensor Link. While a friendly Sept Fire Warrior team is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against the selected enemy unit, re-roll hit rolls of 1.
Wow.
Is that what you're referring to, Adam, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Basically, allows a Fire Warrior team to work in conjunction with a Devilfish, which is their transport, if you are new to the Tau experience.
That's some good synergy. I mean,
yeah,
it's been something that I think they probably could have used a while ago, so it's good to see that happening now.
So I think there's options here.
I feel like for a really long time it's been like Codex Riptide. So this feels like there's play in other things, and I'm really excited to see like what people are coming up with, like the Tau aficionados, what they think of it and what they're most excited about.
Yeah, they're serious fans of this faction, and I'm curious as
There's
to
so
how
many.
they dig into it.
Yeah, Tau's got a really big dedicated player base. I know a lot of Tau players have a strong second faction, and that's not because Tau for them has ever been unfun for them to play, but I think the perception is that other people aren't always happy to play the Tau game after game after game after game. And that's perception. I don't believe that's true for me. I'd love to play into anything all day, every day. I don't really care. And I know the majority of people are as well. But for a casual game, sometimes they've been rough. I mean, I can say 100% that
Tau are one of those first armies where people are like, maybe we should buy some terrain.
Yeah, well, exactly right. So that's a perfect segue. Smart missile systems and are used to be, unless that's changed. I think it's airburst fragmentation launchers or whatever they had a mortar equivalent for a while. I'm keen to know if they can function on dense tables.
So the airborne fragmentation projector can fire at things that are not visible.
Yeah, is it still just strength?
Oh, the stat. I'm sorry. Yeah. Assault
D6,
strength 4, neg 1 AP, 1 damage. Blast.
Yeah, good.
Let me get to the smart missile systems. Please stand by. 30-inch range, heavy 4, strength 5, neg 1, 1 damage, and they can target units not visible to the bearer. Each time the attack is made with this weapon, the target does not receive the benefits of light cover against that attack. And that's for the smart missile system.
Very nice.
I think that can still go on everything that used to.
It's necessary. Straight up. I think you need some.
Yeah, but what do you put them on?
It used to be great on the, firstly, riptides, broadsides, and what did we just say with the railguns?
Hammerheads. Yeah, Riptides can still get smart missile systems. Riptides start base out at 240 points, and I think at 240 points you start asking yourself, do I want this Riptide or do I want a Storm Surge? Or how many Ghost Keels am I not putting in my army because I have a Riptide?
That's fair.
I mean, I know they take up different slots. Don't roast me, Internet. I get it.
Why not have both? Have both.
But I'm thinking once you go down this path of Kroot Hounds, you're probably going to want a lot of Kroot Hounds. I mean, what is it? So full unit of Kroot, the regular old Kroot, 120 points. A full unit of Kroot Hounds. Yeah, full unit of Kroot Hounds is less expensive than that because it's a 12 hound model. What is that? 72 points.
That seems pretty good.
72 points for something you can give a Feel No Pain, gets a pregame move, can heroically intervene. I mean, all for CP.
But even just having the stratagem support is so good.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to use it, but sometimes when your opponent knows that you have it, that's enough to get use out of it. If that makes sense.
It's as good as if you used it.
Yeah.
And it influences their movement. They're not going to scoot up there and risk failing a charge potentially to let you scoot in on them and get initiative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good.
Well, folks, that's the Tau first impressions.
I'm happy with it. I think it sounds awesome. I think Tau players could be pretty excited. I know they've been languishing somewhat in 9th edition just due to how difficult it's been for them to play the missions. So yeah, hopefully this will give them a great lease on life and we can have exciting Tau games again.
Well, we, on the Thursday show, which is a show we do on the Frontline Gaming Network, we cover tournament stats and what people are actually playing over the course of a weekend. And Tau have been, a lagging faction.
If we saw 2 Tau players at a 50-player event, we were surprised.
Yeah, and this is, I'm curious in 3-4 weeks or so what it's actually going to look like.
I think they're back out of the woodwork, too.
Yeah. I think they're going to be just fine.
Well, all right. Well, that's our show this week, y'all. Tune in over wherever you normally find us. Try to check in on us and see what we're doing this weekend. We're going to try to get up to some good stuff.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so the Las Vegas Open was what we're talking about. One of the largest tournaments in the world for anything.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's going to be a massive con. Stay tuned for the GW announcements as well. Some pretty exciting things I hear.
We'll see. It's going to be a pretty electrifying preview, I think. Y'all don't miss it. I mean, you'll see on the Rare Community site.
Yeah.
That's it. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Make sure you leave us some 5-star reviews wherever you possibly can. That is a way to kind of convince the aggregators and everything that other people should be listening to the show as well. And the more the merrier as far as we're concerned. Thanks for all the comments and people reaching out. Next week, we'll talk about some list and stuff from the most recent codexes that have come out. That'll be Custodes, Jesus Lord Cults, and Tau. And all more stuff to bring you. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Always is.
See you, everybody.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody.
The Sept tenets demand you tune in next week. For the greater good, of course.